Welcome back to All This Math. This is Professor Parker. Please make sure you are subscribed to the All This Math channel. Um, Give this video a like, drop a comment down below, share this video with somebody. I want to talk about Chicago today. I like Chicago, right? I was in Chicago back in September. Right now it's November. I was there early this month for a conference, but before that, I was out there in September for the Taste of Chicago. I was out there, and I went on Turo, like I normally do whenever I travel. Go on Turo, get a rental, and do what I got to do so I can get around. So I don't got to keep paying for Ubers and Lyfts and all that. So I got caught lacking. So the last night before I was supposed to fly out and come back to Philly, um, I parked somewhere and I didn't follow my own advice and my own instruction that I always give to my students about word problems and math problems. Always read first. So I got out the car after I parked. I was on South Loop, right? I was on South Loop. I was about to go into this spot called the Williams Inn. Had a little good time in there. But I didn't read the signs. I didn't read the signs. Actually, there was a sign that was like behind some tree leaves, some tree branches or something. I think they was trying to set me up, right? So I didn't read the sign. And because I didn't read the sign, when I came out the spot, after having a good time in there, I was in there, had a meal, had a couple beverages, met up with some folks that was from Detroit. Detroit was playing on the Sunday night game. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they was in there, got the partying with them a little bit. Um, Came out, the car wasn't there no more. So I'm like, yo, what happened? Where's the car at? So it just so happens a brother from parking authority pulls up in the tow truck. He was like a supervisor. So I went and talked to him, and I was like, so they was towing cars out here. I didn't even know it was illegal. So he told me like, yeah, man, you gotta check that sign right there. So he was cool about everything. Actually, he's a father. You know what I'm saying? Gave him my YouTube channel, right? He subscribed to the YouTube channel. So you know what I'm saying? I gained a subscriber on YouTube, right, from that situation. But anyway, got the ticket, went and got the car, had to pay to get the car out, right? Took care of that. But then the ticket was on the windshield. I never paid the ticket though, right? And the ticket was no standing, parking time restricted. It was $100 ticket, right? So it was $100 ticket, but I never paid the ticket. Because I was like, the owner of the car, they're gonna go ahead and pay the ticket, and then they'll notify Turo, and then Turo will notify me, and then we'll just handle it like that, right? I probably should have paid it on my own because then I could have just I'd have paid less money, right? And that's what I'm trying to verify. So that's why I'm doing this video, because here's the situation. Because one of the things about math, right? And this is how math is relevant. Because a lot of people often say math is irrelevant. I'm never going to use this in life. One of the things we can do with mathematics, algebra, geometry, whatever, we can verify things, right? So somebody could tell you something, and you can either just believe them, or you could just verify what they're saying to be true or untrue, right? So the original ticket was $100. The service fee when you go online and you pay to the City of Chicago Department of Finance was $1.97, right? And I seen documentation of that in the pictures, right? On the Turo app, right? So that's a total of $101.97. So that's how much the owner of the car, the owner of the rental company that I got the car through Turo from, that's how much they paid. They paid $101.97 off an $100 ticket. Now my cost was $105.03. Now why was my cost higher? Because then Turo, they got to get their cut. They charged me 3%, a 3% surcharge, right? So they're saying that the additional money, which is the difference between this amount that the owner of the car paid and that I was expected to pay, is the 3%. So what I'm saying is, and this is the math I'm about to do with y'all, is that difference 3%, right? And because we know math, we can figure this out. So this involves using percentages. And percentages are very important in life, right? So we got to know how to use percentages. All right. So look, the question is the difference between these $2 amounts equal to 3% of this original dollar amount? All right. So first thing we got to do is we got to figure out or calculate what the difference between these $2 amounts is. All right. So first we say, matter if I do it over here. So 105.03 minus 101.97. All right, and I could do that mentally. You don't need a calculator for that. But I would do this. How I would do this mentally. I would round this up to 102 and round this down to 105. Take the difference between 105 and 102. That's $3. And then I'm gonna add the differences that I rounded up. The 3 cent over here and the 3 cent that I rounded down over here. So that's 6 cents. So that's $3.06. So now my question is $3.06 3% of 101.97? Because remember, so originally, what Turo says to me is that I owe them 3%. I got to owe them a 3% surcharge, right? 3% surcharge on top of the 101.97 that the owner of the vehicle already paid. That's why my price is jacked up by $3.06. And I'm like, I just want to make sure. I want to make sure that's actually 3%. All right. So what's my equation? So is $3.06 3% of 101.97? So 3%. So what I would do, this is what I would do. I would rewrite this as a question. I would say, what is 3% of, this is only one way to do it. There's other ways to do it. I would say, what is 3% of 101.97? That's what I would do. I would phrase it like that. So what is 3% of 101.97? So then I would have my what would be my variable. Let's just call that W. And then the word is in math language is going to be an equal sign. And then 3%, I'm going to convert that to 0.03, not 0.3. 0.3 is 30%. 0.3 is 30%. 0.03 is 3%. All right. And then of means multiply. And then we got 101.97. Right? So now we're going to do some multiplication. I actually already did this, right? Now, I already did this, right? So when you put this in a calculator, you calculate this. 0.03 times 101.97 gives you, put my dollar sign right there. Dollar sign 3.0591. Right? So 3.0591. So now we got to round, right? Because we're dealing with money. So we want to round to two decimal places, right? So here's the decimal place I want to round to, the hundredths place, and then the digit to the right, the 9. The 9 affects the 5. So because this 9 is 5 or greater, that means the 5 is going to get pushed up. It's going to get bumped up and turn into a 6. So that means that the amount, 3% of $101.97 is, in fact, $3.06. So, okay, so cool. So Turo wasn't trying to get me. All right, Turo wasn't trying to get over on me. All right, so that actually was 3%. Now I could complain that why they gotta get a 3% surcharge, but it's a price of doing business. What I need to do is start reading parking signs better. Because what happened? Actually, let me tell you though. Let me tell you. So I made an estimation that I should not have made. What happened was when I parked the car. See, what had happened was I parked the car. I hopped out. They had the electronic parking meters there. So I stepped to the parking meter about to pay for parking, right? But the message on the meter stated that they didn't take money. They wasn't taking money on the meter. You didn't have to pay to park there until the next morning. Notice, and mind you, it's a Sunday night. It's like Sunday around like 6:30, 6:45, something like that. So I'm like, okay, cool. So my next thought is, okay, cool. It's just cool to park here, right? You don't got to pay nothing, but I didn't see that the sign said you can't park there after 10 p.m. on Sunday night. And like I said, it was like 6:30, 7 o'clock when I got there. And then, like I said, I went in there, went into the Williams Inn, had some good food, you know what I'm saying? Some beverages, got with some people. The Lions was playing somebody, you know what I'm saying? The Lions was playing. Some people from Detroit was in there, some good folks that I met. I started partying with them a little bit. Next thing I know, it's like 11 o'clock and I'm about to leave. And then I'm stepping out and I'm like, I know I parked this car right here, but for some reason the car is not right here. Like, am I in the right place? Right? So, and then I had the conversation with the brother that pulled up and he was like, told me where to go get it out the impound lot. Had to pay money, almost like $175, almost $200 to get the car out the impound lot. because I had to get the car back. Couldn't just leave it in there because then that would have been even more expensive. And I was flying out early the next morning. So I had to handle that. I had to take care of that like that night. You know what I mean? So anyway, it was a good experience. I like Chicago. You know what I'm saying? That's why I still went. That happened in September. I still went back in November. So everything was cool. It's just when I went back, I know to pay attention, extra attention to street signs, right? Well, really, you should do that in any city you go to. But I'm definitely doing it in Chicago because they actually towed my car, right? And I don't want that to happen. But I used some math to make sure that Turo was not trying to get over on me. So when Turo said they were charging me a 3% surcharge and it ended up being $3.06, it actually was 3%. Now somebody might say, "Oh, that ain't that deep. Why you got to do all this math over $3.06? Why you so worried about it? Why you so hyped?" Listen, what you do with a little bit of money is what you're gonna do with a lot of money, right? Now, right now it's $3.06. But what if it was $300? What if it was 3,000? Right? We should still be aware, right? Because this is part of financial literacy, right? We should still be aware of what we're doing with our money and what we're being charged. We should be concerned. And any opportunity to show the relevance of math to everyday life, we should take advantage of that. All right. So that's all I want to say about that. Make sure you understand percentages. Make sure you can use percentages to do calculations based on your daily experiences. And I'll see you all in the next video. I'm out.